Look, let me say good morning to everybody. Oh, y'all are quiet. This is an exciting day. Good morning. Look, let me start off by acknowledging and recognizing Council Member Kamin, who led this effort from day one. This is something that she thought would be very beneficial for the city of Houston, and she brought the idea to me. And then in a subsequent meeting, was Councilmember Kamin and Beth Murphy, and I think we were on the screen, if I'm not mistaken, in this new world. And they both talked about the establishment of a Women's Commission. So I certainly want to start off by acknowledging these two, the council member and now the chair, for discussing it, bringing it to my attention, articulating the importance of it, and we find ourselves here today. And then it's only kind of a natural extension, because with this council that came in January of 2020, we have the majority of the people on this council are women. And so I think there are 9, if I'm not mistaken, there are 9 women of the 17, and I include myself in that 17, that's on council. And it's a dynamic group. It's a dynamic group, and they've just been very, very collaborative and very helpful to me. And I certainly want to acknowledge Carolyn Evans-Shabazz of District D, who has branded it the District of Destination. So I appreciate her efforts and partnership. And then we also have Carla Cisneros of District H. Where's Carla?
She had to step out.
Okay, well, she was here, and I certainly want to acknowledge her, as well as all of the other women, the Vice Mayor Pro Tem of this group, Martha Castek Tatum, who's also happens to be president of the Texas Municipal League at this point in time. So, and all of the other women who are part of City Council. But let me thank you for agreeing to serve. There are 25 exceptional women that's a part of this commission. Most, if not all of you, to some degree, I know, and so and then some go way back. Glenda Joy and I were on the college campus together. She was raising hell back there. Right, and Glenda Joy is still raising hell and raising sand. But some outstanding women in this group, and it's even within this group, very diverse, representing both in terms of industry, ethnicity, sexuality, you name it, that are a part of this group. And I will readily confess there are a lot of things I don't know, but there are a lot of things. And there are a lot of things that we need to do. And so what I would ask of you is help us to move the city forward. Help us to address the inequities, the disparities that exist within our city, but across the board. And it covers in many areas, whether they're health disparities, disparities within business, disparity amongst wages, equities of all kind, inclusion is an important element. All of those things that need to take place. Please help us to address that. What's needed in the labor force, where we are missing, where we are falling short, and not just from the public sector. Okay, it's the public and private sector. So help us. I'm proud of the things that we have done in terms of people in key positions, but there's still so much to do. And we can never get to the point where we think we've done a few things and that's enough. So help us to move the ball forward in a very holistic, comprehensive fashion. I know you will. I don't have to tell this group that, But, and in so many different fronts. Barbara, it's good to see you. When it comes to startups, technology, and innovation, we're moving forward, and Barbara Berger's just been out front and center. Tammy Wallace, when it comes to LGBT, and the chamber, and already doing some things with the city as it relates to the LGBTQ chamber. So on many different front them. I started naming names. I made a mistake. I should not have done that. So let me
Mayor,
pull.
it's very few men that will admit to women that they don't know something, so you're doing well.
Well, I would tell you there are a lot of things that I still don't know, and my daughter reminds me of that all the time. So let me just yield. I don't want to spend a lot of time just with the introduction for myself. But again, Council Member Kamin, thank you for your incredible leadership already. Beth, let me thank you for agreeing to serve as chair, and then let me thank all the rest of you for being a part of what I believe can really be a dynamic commission. And I'm in a hurry. Let me just say that, a little over 2 years to go. So I'm in a hurry to do some significant, impactful things quickly. I know bureaucracy can move slowly, but in this case, you got to give me some things so we can do and move in a hurry. Okay, that would be my ask. Having said that, Councilmember, turn it back to you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'll just start by saying and I referenced this when we passed historically the commission at council last week, but whether it's a mother cleaning at a hotel who raised 9 children on her own, and one who happened to become our mayor, and I'm very moved by that story, Mayor, and I've told you that, or a little girl who's sitting in a classroom right now who will one day be mayor. Government and business alike cannot succeed if women are not only represented, but involved at every level. And that is why this commission is so important. I just want to share briefly kind of how this came about. On the campaign trail, actually, I was looking at all the boards and commissions that the city has, and there wasn't one on women's equality and equity, and that really stood out to me. And we actually had some, with the help of Beth, some public meetings. And at those meetings, moms brought even their middle school daughters to share their stories. And one of them was about a little girl who wanted to participate even in extracurriculars at school, but didn't feel safe walking when it got dark. So the fact that she didn't have a safe way to get home precluded her from participating in the activities that were available to her. And that, to me, is an example of the intersection where the city plays, right? If we can provide safe access, safe walkways, working with Metro, whatever that is, that's just one example of access at a young age that we should be focusing on. But I also, when I was pregnant at the city last year during COVID, I had the opportunity to speak with other city employees about their experiences. And a lot of women who love serving the city, are extraordinary city employees that are dedicated, had to choose between whether or not they needed to take sick leave because of their morning sickness or save their sick leave for when they delivered so that they could be with their baby. And I wanted to share one quote that stood out. Some of you may know the 19th News, a new national publication, and there was a story recently, so I'm quoting this. But it's illegal to separate a puppy from its mother before 8 weeks. But in the United States, 1 in 4 mothers goes back to work within 2 weeks. That's pretty astounding and to me unacceptable. So I'll pivot and say each one of you is an incredible leader in your own right. We have women who have saved the lives of other women in Afghanistan right now. Haley Carter cannot be here because she's in the midst of that, but sends her best. Women who have saved the lives of other women giving birth. We have women helping other women pick themselves up to escape abuse. We have women who lead international corporations and are ushering in a new era of energy. And we have women who have broken barriers in the courts with Judge Phyllis Fry, among so many others. And again, we're going to do introductions, so we'll get to each of you. The diversity of this group, as the mayor mentioned, is exceptional. But I do want to emphasize it's incumbent upon each of you to bring even more women to the table and to bring more perspectives, because there can always be more. And it's very hard to get those perspectives in 25 women. So I just ask that we make the table even bigger as this work continues, and bring more stories like our city employees or the girls that are in school right now. All of those perspectives are important. So please go out and bring those to us. You'll be going with Beth over some of the most recent data, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but we are at a very, very critical juncture with COVID. Schools shuttered and childcare closed, caregivers' duties overwhelmingly fell on women during the pandemic, and that has not subsided. And I will say that for Black, Hispanic, and Latino women, that is even more so. Hundreds of thousands of women have left the workforce, and they did that because they were already the ones more likely in a household to be making less money and more likely to already be doing most of the child care. So the disparities that existed previously have only been exacerbated because of COVID. And again, domestic violence is skyrocketing. And Mayor, thank you. I know this is a big deal. This work actually started earlier in the pandemic when the mayor committed and really launched expanding the Office of Human Trafficking to include domestic violence. So now there's a permanent city office looking at that as well. So that was extraordinary. And Mayor, you have always stood with us and for us, and I just really appreciate that. So again, I look forward to all that you are going to do. I know it's going to be meaningful, impactful, and the real work that we need to move the ball forward. COVID is going to be your first charge of the commission this first year, and I ask, and I hope that with that, you'll also look at the city specifically, not just the city, but looking at the city on leave policies, because that is intrinsically tied with COVID and the disparities that currently exist. So Beth will talk more about that. But again, also looking to businesses and what we can be doing at the city to encourage all of these gains in the private sector as well, because Houston is business. And Houston is our nonprofit sector. It's not just the city, and we all have to be working together. So we are here to support you. Councilmember Evan Shabazz, thank you so much for joining us. Councilmember Cisneros was here earlier. All of our female colleagues who are incredible in their own right could not all be here, but extend their best wishes as well. We are all here to support you throughout this, as our male counterparts, I will say. So thank you so much for serving. And with that, Beth, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So I have some comments that I wrote down because I'm accustomed to giving 3-hour lectures, and I thought I should not go improv and end up in a 3-hour situation. Thank you, Mayor Turner, for your leadership in establishing this commission and providing us with the support we need to be effective. Thank you, Council Member Kamin, for your vision of this commission and your steadfast devotion to its foundation and success. Your commitment to using your own experiences as a woman and mother to inspire your fight for other women is exemplary, and our city is already better for it. Each of us is here because we represent the diversity and richness of the city of Houston and of our collective experiences. We come from a wide range of sectors, including, but not limited to, education, energy, medicine, social entrepreneurship, communications, the arts, finance, and law. Among us are full-time advocates who work for the city and other public entities, for nonprofit organizations providing critical services to Houstonians, and for unions that protect our city's workers. Each of us comes here ready to devote ourselves to this work because of our own generosity of time, energy, and resources. Whether we are employed, business owners, or full-time advocates, we have asked for support in prioritizing this work. I am deeply grateful to my own institution, the University of Houston Clear Lake, including its Institute for Human and Planetary Sustainability, for providing me with the resources I need to continue UH Clear Lake's remarkable legacy of women's advocacy and feminist research. We are evidence of the variety of ways in which Houston's leaders care about the experiences of women and their families. Whether we're thinking about groundbreaking research on maternal mortality, the commitment to provide crucial health care for women who might otherwise go without, the fight to fully recognize and support all women in a truly intersectional way, or the imperative to eliminate wage inequity and offer the family care resources necessary for women to succeed, you each come here with experience, with valuable lived experiences, expertise, with valuable lived experiences, and with the strength of your communities behind you. Many of you, like me, are here to continue a legacy. For me, that is the gift of my mother, whose tireless advocacy for the rights of women has inspired me to pursue that work. I ask you, as I will, to think always of the giants upon whose shoulders you stand as you engage in this work. We are inheritors of progress, and we honor it by continuing to build on it. Like many of you, I'm also here for a younger generation. In my case, I'm particularly inspired by two tiny Houstonians, my daughters Etta and Flora, who represent two faces among a vast community of women, girls, and their families, who depend on us to advance the causes of equity and inclusivity so that they can fully recognize their own potential and so that they do not have to experience what generations before have endured. Think, too, of those people who depend on you in this work and let them guide your thoughts and actions. Thank you again for joining me in this endeavor. I'm confident we can face the complex problems facing the women of our city and beyond, and with the unique perspective each of us brings to this room, generate the innovative and inclusive solutions our mayor and our city ask of us.